Hi, this is Gerald Salenti. It's Wednesday, January 17th, 2018. And here's some of today's trends in the news on the market front. Over there in Asia, Nikkei is down a little bit. Hang Seng and Shanghai up. Over there in Europe, everything's down a little bit. Over here in the USA, another market high. That's right. Dow up over 300 points. And oil's up a little bit. Gold's down. Bitcoin's down. Hey, speaking of Bitcoin, something's going on over there in that crypto world. I've been noticing it. Here, check out all these cryptos. Look at all those lines going down. The same downward trajectory, just about for all of them. Interesting, isn't it? So when stocks go down, they all don't go down by the same percentage points. So that's the crypto world. It's a new world of crypto order. Anyway, you look at the Bitcoin, man. Phew. Will it come back? I don't know. Again, you're hearing more and more about governments clamping down, as I mentioned yesterday. We got Ukraine, China, South Korea, one after another, saying they're going to put more restrictions on them. And now they're talking about here in the States, the IRS is going to grab your profits. So, will it bounce back? Yes, it will. How high? I don't know. Nothing goes straight up or straight down. We will see. It really depends on what they do in South Korea. I think that's the big one. And again, Australia is talking about putting restrictions. A lot of countries, Singapore. Anyway, the Dow. Why did the Dow go up? Well, repatriating that money, that's right, from overseas, and you know where it's going to go, stock buybacks, but also earnings reports. Yep. Of the S&P 500 companies that have reported as of Wednesday, today, 78% have passed earnings per share estimates, while 89% have beaten expectations. So, those are stronger than expected earning reports. So now figure it out. The earning reports are strong already. And now, because they weren't doing great before, being facetious, Trump has now lowered the tax rate for the big guys. It's going down for corporations, 35 to 21%. That's why the market's going up. They're going to have more dough, and you know what they're going to do with that dough? Stock buybacks. And oil. It's basically flat, really nothing new. Gold's going down because the dollar's going up. And again, if this market keeps boosting up the way it does, you're going to see interest rates go up more than 3 times, maybe more than 4, and that's going to put downward pressure on gold. Stronger dollar, weaker gold. End of story, but it remains to be seen how much they're going to raise interest rates. Corporate cash, bringing it all back home. Who has money overseas? 311 companies. And a Wall Street Journal analysis reports more than $2.5 trillion in unremitted foreign profits. At the end of the most recent fiscal year, the U.S. government expects $400 billion in taxes from repatriated profits over the decade. Again, repatriating profits, their money. Apple announces plans to repatriate billions in overseas cash. Says it will contribute $350 billion to the U.S. economy over the next 5 years. Not contribute. They say that's what they're going to make money, and that money is going to go into building the economy. So it's not like they're going to put $350 billion back, because here's what they're going to do. $38 billion they're going to have to pay in taxes. They're going to repatriate $250 billion. $30 billion, they're bragging, in expenditures over 5 years. I'm not good at math, but that's only $6 billion a year. How much did they bring back? 250 billion. Oh, wow. Woo, 6 billion out of 250 billion. And what else? Oh, 5 billion in innovation. So you got $215 billion left over, and they put a headline like this that's nothing more than pure...
That was bullshit.
You got it. 215 billion bucks. You know where it's going? Back into the stock markets. Yeah, driving them up, and that's why they keep going up. Oh, and the big story, Walmart. You know, they got a big break too. Again, all the bigs, they're very generous with their dough. Walmart joins corporate rush to split Trump tax windfall with workers. Yep, they're raising a starting wage to $11 an hour. Yeah, we've talked about this before, right? Just to put this all in perspective. $11 an hour. You look up the data. After taxes, it's about $19,000 a year. Who can live on $19,000 a year in the USA? So, what do you got? The Walton family that owns Walmart stocks, most of it. Money goes back into the stocks. They're worth over 150 billion bucks already. But they're giving their workers $11. When I was a kid, you could be a short order cook in Times Square. And you could raise a family decently. There were living wages. It wasn't the state saying it was a minimum wage. They were spreading the wealth. And now all the wealth is going to the pockets of the few. As the data proves, 3 cats in the USA got more dough than 60% of us. And when you look around the world, 8 people have more dough than half the world's population combined. And again, the bigs get bigger. Ferraro takes Group's U.S. sweet business. Italy's Ferraro has won the auction for Nestle U.S. confectionery business, paying $2.8 billion in cash for the brands Butterfinger, Crunch, Nerds, and Laffy Taffy. Ferraro's buying this stuff. What happened to the Italians? It's not the Italians. They would never eat this stuff. But hey, everybody's going down, man. In quality, integrity, morality, and dignity. Ferraro. Great-great-grandpa Ferraro would be turning in his grave. Anyway, on to the Bitcoin market. Bitcoin sinks as more regulations loom. Again, that's what we're saying. When we put out our first trend alert about Bitcoins, we believed that they were going to have some restrictions from governments, but not to the level they are now. Initially, I believed that a couple of years ago when it all started to happen. I said, they're not going to let this happen. And I saw the way things were going, and I said, I better change my viewpoint on it, and I did, as you well know. But we have to see where this goes. And Venezuela, as we mentioned, they're going to come out with a Petro coin. But they're knocking it back because there's a report and a comment by someone, a cryptocurrency that's not crypto, backed by reserves that aren't reserves, that you can only monetize through production that's collapsing, issued by a government in default, and with no dollars, tweeted Francisco Monaldi, a Venezuelan expert at the Baker Institute think tank, who described the plan as ridiculous. But there are aspects of it all that are not ridiculous, and that's that blockchain technology. And more and more and more and more companies are using it. And the companies in the crypto world that are attached to this, and other companies that are blockchain leaders, are going to see enormous growth. Maersk and IBM to apply blockchain to trade. Shipping giant AP. Maersk is the latest company to climb aboard blockchain technology. Maersk said the costs of documentation to process and administrate many of the goods shipped each year can amount to as much as 1/5 of the physical transportation costs. And now they're teaming up in a joint venture with IBM to use blockchain to create a more efficient and secure platform for organizing global trade. This is the future. So when we're looking at the cryptos and the ones that are really heavily involved in this, may I suggest you look at the ones that are blockchain advanced. And talking about Trump and the economy and it going up, and I call things the way I believe to them, not that I want them, and I see them and I think what's good and what's not. And NAFTA stinks. The deal's terrible when you look at all the data from it, the millions of jobs lost, and the standard of living declining since. I mean, just add up the numbers. You don't have to really be good at math. Nissan expects to build U.S. plant. Remember, we're hearing one after another saying they're going to build more plants here. They say they're going to build one within 5 years. So Nissan has become increasingly reliant on sales coming out of North America. At one time it was 30%, and now 50% of its profits are dependent on the United States. So, what Trump is doing, and you're going to see more and more of the heating up, especially a trade war that's looming with China, and other companies in other countries see where this is going, and they're moving more and more production into the U.S. It will be good for the bottom line and the average person in America if this trend continues. It will raise wages and provide better jobs than those, quote, service sector jobs. Yeah, like working at Slavelandia camp in Amazon or somebody else. Driverless software startup lands 2 deals. Yep. And it's about the startup firm Aurora Innovation. The Boston Consulting Group predicts 1/4 of miles driven in the U.S. by 2030 may be through shared self-driving vehicles. Maybe? Oh, you know what maybe is.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
We don't see it happening. GM seeks nod for car without driver controls. Okay, great. Hey, you fixed them airbags yet? How many accelerator pedals are stuck? Can't open them doors? Hoods popping open? Look at the recalls each year. Oh, you put it in park and the car's going anyway when you're not there? I don't see this happening. But, again, could be wrong. Hey, what's one of your top trends for 2018 and 2017? Well, 2017 was Silicon Valley, Rust Belt 2.0, and of course, this year, follow the yellow brick road. That's right, China's new initiative, Belt and Road Initiative. Beijing takes challenge to AI chip leaders. Big story how they're spending billions and billions of dollars on artificial intelligence to lead the world in it. Well, again, the business of China is business. The business of America is war. There we go. Jitters over new border force in Syria. American-backed troops may keep a Kurdish enclave in the north. You want to talk about propaganda and how I talk about the New York slime, or excuse me, the toilet paper record, the New York Times keeps selling propaganda. Look at this photo. Look at this. I always see this one attractive woman after another. Right on the front page there, huh? Who shot this? Photograph by Ivor Prickett for the New York Times. Yeah, sure. Don't they make war look nice? A plan to create a new American-backed Kurdish-led border force In northeastern Syria has raised alarms in a region that the United States may be helping to cement an autonomous Kurdish enclave that could further divide the country. The 30,000-strong force, vehemently opposed by Russia, Turkey, Iran, and the Syrian government, could also ignite a new phase in the war that could pit American allies against one another and draw the United States deeper into the conflict. Great, huh? Yeah, more conflict because, after all, America's doing just great in all the wars that's going on. Afghan troops killed in high-tech attack. U.S. plans to beef up Afghan role. Yeah. Pentagon to relocate drones and hardware, sending in 1,000 more combat advisors. And boy, they're really good at it. U.S. bombs Allied militia after clash. How many did they kill? Just 13 Afghan soldiers and wounded about 20 others. It's no big deal. It's America. Again, the business of China. Business. The business of America losing wars. U.S. plans new nuclear weapons. All right? New nuclear weapons. Isn't that something? Hey, they gave that peace prize to that anti-nuclear group. New nuclear weapons. And what is China doing with their money? Follow the Yellow Silk Road. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's